Picture this: a tennis legend. 14 Grand Slam titles under his belt. Standing on a court in Hong Kong, not for glory, not for another trophy, but for something far more powerful. He's watching a young boy, maybe 12 years old, gripping a racket like it's the only thing keeping him from drowning. The kid's hands are shaking. His serve barely clears the net. But Rafael Nadal, he doesn't look away. He walks over, kneels down, and says something that will change that boy's life forever. This isn't just a story about tennis. This is about what happens when greatness decides to lift others up. When a warrior from Mallorca travels thousands of miles to serve hope to kids who've been told they don't matter. And what Nadal did in Hong Kong? It's the kind of thing that makes you believe in heroes again. Let's rewind. Because you can't understand what Nadal brought to Hong Kong without understanding where he came from. Rafael Nadal Pereira was born on June 3, 1986. In Manacor, a quiet town on the Spanish island of Mallorca. Not Madrid. Not Barcelona. A place where fishermen still mend their nets by hand and the Mediterranean sun bakes the cobblestone streets until they shimmer. His family wasn't poor. But they weren't royalty either. His father ran a business. His mother kept the family grounded. And his uncle. His uncle Tony was a tennis coach with a reputation for being tougher than steel. Tony Nadal didn't believe in coddling. When young Rafael picked up a racket at age 3, his uncle saw something. Raw potential, unpolished, wild, but unmistakably there. So Tony made a decision. He would train his nephew, but not like other coaches train their students. No participation trophies. No gentle encouragement. Just brutal, unrelenting reality. You want to be great. Tony would say, arms crossed, watching Rafael stumble through drills. Then suffer for it. And Rafael did. He practiced until his hands bled. Until his legs couldn't carry him. Until the very idea of quitting became more painful than continuing. Tony made him play left-handed even though he was naturally right-handed, believing it would give him an edge. He made him clean the courts himself. Carry his own bags. Never expect special treatment. By the time Rafael was 8 years old, he was already different. Other kids played tennis. Rafael battled it. Every point was war. Every match was survival. But here's what most people don't know. Beneath that warrior exterior was a kid who struggled with fear. Real, paralyzing fear. Before matches, young Nadal would feel his chest tighten. His breath would quicken. Panic attacks, though he didn't have words for them then. He'd think about losing. About disappointing his uncle. About not being good enough. His mother, Anna Maria, would hold him. "Rafa," she'd whisper, "you don't have to win. You just have to try." But Tony would shake his head. Trying isn't enough. Champions don't make excuses. It was that tension, that push and pull between compassion and discipline, that forged Nadal into something extraordinary. By 15, Rafael Nadal turned professional. By 19, he won his first French Open. Not just won. Dominated. Crushed, obliterated the competition like a hurricane. Tearing through paper houses, the tennis world had never seen anything like him. His forehand was a missile. His defense was impenetrable. But it was his spirit, that relentless, never-say-die attitude, that made him legendary. He didn't just play tennis. He waged war with it. Opponents would look across the net and see something primal. A competitor who would chase every ball like his life depended on it. Who would slide on clay until his knees bled. Who would fight for 5 hours if that's what victory required. Roger Federer, the elegant Swiss maestro, had ruled tennis with grace. Then Nadal arrived. All muscle and intensity and raw emotion. Their rivalry became the stuff of legend. Federer, the artist. Nadal, the warrior. They pushed each other to heights neither could have reached alone. But with success came pain. Physical, crushing pain. Nadal's knees began to fail him. His wrists ached constantly. Chronic tendinitis in both knees. Inflammation that would sideline most athletes permanently. Doctors told him he might never play at the highest level again. 2012 was supposed to be his coronation year. Instead, it became his darkest moment. 7 months away from tennis. Surgery, rehabilitation, doubt creeping in like water. Through cracks, his team pleaded with him. Maybe it's time to think about retiring. Nadal stared at them. I'm not done, and he wasn't. He came back in 2013 and won 10 titles, including his 8th French Open, proving that champions aren't defined by their victories alone, but by how they rise after falling. But championships don't tell the whole story. Because Rafael Nadal, the tennis player, is just one part of the equation. Rafael Nadal, the person. That's where things get interesting. In 2005, he met Maria Francisca Perello. Childhood friend, quiet, private. The opposite of the spotlight that followed Nadal everywhere. They dated for 14 years before getting married in 2019. No tabloid drama. No scandals. Just two people who genuinely loved each other. Maria refused to attend most of his matches. I get too nervous, she'd explain. And if I'm there, I'll just distract him. That's the kind of woman she was. Protective of his space. Respectful of his focus. And Nadal adored her for it. They built a life in Mallorca, far from the glitz of Monaco or Dubai where other tennis stars lived. Nadal wanted normalcy. He wanted to go fishing with his father. Have dinner with his mother. Walk the same streets he walked as a child. Success didn't change him. That's what people who know him always say. He still says please and thank you. Still signs every autograph. Still treats ball kids and janitors with the same respect he gives royalty. But beneath that humility was something else. A deep, almost spiritual understanding of responsibility. I've been lucky, Nadal once said in an interview. His eyes serious. So many kids don't get chances. Don't have uncles who coach them. Don't have families who support them. If I can help even one of them, then tennis meant something beyond trophies. And that's what brought him to Hong Kong. Let's talk about Hong Kong. Because this city, this beautiful, chaotic, neon-drenched metropolis, is drowning in pressure. The kids there grow up fast. Too fast? By age 10, they're studying 6-7 hours a day. Extra tutoring. Music lessons. Language classes. All designed to secure spots in the best schools. The best universities. The best futures, but at what cost? Hong Kong has one of the highest youth suicide rates in the developed world. Children as young as 12 taking their own lives because they failed an exam. Because they couldn't meet impossible expectations. Because they felt like disappointments. The pressure isn't just academic. It's economic. Hong Kong is one of the most expensive cities on earth. Housing costs are astronomical. Families live in apartments smaller than parking spaces. Parents work multiple jobs just to survive. And sports. Sports are seen as distractions. Luxuries. Poor kids don't get to dream about being athletes. They get told to study, to be practical, to stop wasting time. But here's the thing about hope. It doesn't always come from where you expect. In 2016, the Rafael Nadal Foundation partnered with local organizations in Hong Kong to create tennis programs for underprivileged youth. Not elite training camps. Not academies for the rich. Programs specifically designed for kids who'd never touched a racket. Kids from low-income families. Kids who needed an outlet. A place to belong. Nadal didn't just lend his name to the project. He showed up, physically, in person, to a court in Mong Kok, one of the most densely populated areas on the planet. surrounded by towering concrete and endless noise. And he started teaching. The first day was chaos. 60 kids showed up, some as young as 6. Others teenagers with hard eyes and defensive postures. Most had never held a tennis racket before. Some didn't even own proper shoes. Nadal walked onto the court in simple athletic gear. No entourage. No cameras. Just him and a bag of tennis balls. One girl, maybe 14, stood at the back, arms crossed, skeptical. Her name was May. She'd come because her school forced her to participate in an extracurricular activity. She had no interest in tennis. No interest in some famous athlete pretending to care. Nadal noticed her immediately. "You," he said, pointing. "Come, hit with me." May shook her head. "I don't know how." "Perfect," Nadal smiled. "Then I'll teach you." He handed her a racket, showed her how to grip it, stood across the net and gently fed her balls. She missed every single one at first. The other kids giggled. May's face flushed with embarrassment, but Nadal didn't laugh, didn't show any frustration. He just kept feeding her balls. "One more," he'd say. "Just one more." On the 23rd attempt, May connected. The ball sailed over the net. Not pretty, not powerful. But over Nadal pumped his fist like she'd just won Wimbledon. "Yes, see? You can do this." And something in May's face changed. That hardness. That skepticism. It cracked. Just a little. But enough. Over the next 3 days, Nadal worked with every single kid. Individually, he learned their names. Asked about their lives. Their families. Their dreams. One boy, Ho-Yin, told Nadal he wanted to be a chef. His parents called it stupid. Said he needed to be a doctor or lawyer. Nadal listened. Really listened. "You know what's stupid?" Nadal said, kneeling to the boy's eye level. "Telling someone their dream doesn't matter. If cooking makes you happy, cook. Be the best chef you can be. Work as hard at cooking as I worked at tennis, and no one can tell you it wasn't worth it." Ho-Yin's eyes filled with tears. Because maybe it was the first time an adult had validated him, had seen him as more than a set of test scores. But Nadal didn't just teach tennis. He taught life. He taught them about failure, about his injuries, about the matches he lost, about the times he wanted to quit. "Failure isn't the end," he'd say, hitting balls with them. "It's information. It tells you what to fix, what to improve. Champions fail more than anyone else. They just don't stay down." He taught them about respect. How he treated every opponent with dignity. How he never threw rackets or screamed at officials. "You want to know the real test of character?" he'd ask. "It's how you act when you're losing. When everything's going wrong, that's when the world sees who you really are." And he taught them about community, about looking out for each other. He paired older kids with younger ones, made them practice together, support each other. "Life isn't just about your success," he'd explain. "It's about lifting others up, about making sure no one fights alone." One afternoon, during a water break, a journalist asked Nadal why he bothered. Why spend time on kids who'd probably never play professionally, who'd never make headlines or win tournaments? Nadal looked at the journalist like he'd just said something in a foreign language. "You don't understand," Nadal said quietly. "This isn't about creating tennis players. This is about creating hope. About showing kids that someone believes in them, that they matter. If even one of these kids goes home tonight feeling a little less alone, a little more capable, then this was worth every second." The journalist didn't know what to say to that. Neither did the parents watching from the sidelines, many of them wiping tears from their eyes. Nadal's visit lasted a week. Just 7 days. But the impact, that's still unfolding. The skeptical girl from the first day joined a local tennis club, started competing in junior tournaments. But more than that, she started believing in herself. Her grades improved. Her relationship with her parents healed. She recently posted on social media thanking Nadal for showing me that I could be more than my fears. Ho-Yin, the aspiring chef, enrolled in culinary school. His parents still weren't thrilled, but they accepted it because their son had found his fire. And you can't extinguish that once it's lit. The program Nadal helped launch has now served over 2,000 kids in Hong Kong. They play tennis, but they also get tutoring, mental health support, mentorship, community. One of the coaches, a woman named Mrs. Chen, said something that perfectly captures what Nadal brought to Hong Kong. He didn't just teach our kids tennis. He taught them that someone from the other side of the world cared, that they were worth caring about. You can't measure that impact. It echoes forever, and it does echo, because those kids are now teaching younger kids, paying forward what Nadal gave them, creating a chain of hope that stretches far beyond any single person. Rafael Nadal could have been just another athlete, wealthy, famous, forgotten the moment he retired. But he chose something else. He chose to serve hope, to use his platform for something that outlasts him. Hong Kong's youth received more than tennis lessons. They received a blueprint for living, for fighting, for never giving up. Even when the world tells you you're not enough, they receive the gift of being seen. So what can we learn from all this? From a tennis legend who traveled to the other side of the world to hit balls with kids who'd never make it to Wimbledon. Maybe it's this. Your impact isn't determined by your job title, or your bank account, or your fame. It's determined by how you use whatever platform you have, however small, to lift others up. Nadal had a massive platform, and he used it beautifully. But the principle applies to all of us. Every interaction is an opportunity. Every moment of belief we give someone could be the thing that changes their life. Hong Kong's youth needed a champion. And Rafael Nadal answered that call. Not with promises, not with speeches, but with presence, with time, with genuine care. That's serving hope. That's real legacy. And somewhere in Hong Kong right now, a kid is picking up a tennis racket for the first time, remembering that a legend once believed in them, and deciding to believe in themselves too. That echo. It'll never stop. If this story moved you, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about extraordinary people doing extraordinary things. Drop a comment telling us about someone who served hope in your life. We read every single one. Until next time, remember, greatness isn't about being the best. It's about making others believe they can be.